All right, gang, what's up? I know mitosis and meiosis can be complicated, so that's why I'm doing this video. This is not in place of the notes. This is not expected for you to come to YouTube instead of listen to me in class. This is just a quick kind of overview. So if you want to study with your parents or help anybody out, you have this resource. So the first and most important thing about mitosis and meiosis that we need to know is that all this is doing is creating more cells. We talked about in class about how you're not born with all the cells you'll ever have. They grow, they die, they regenerate. So we need a process for that. And that's what's called mitosis. Remember, mitosis makes mitose. Your hair, your skin, your nails, these are the things that regenerate. Remember, your brain cells are the only things that don't regenerate, so don't sniff Sharpies. Okay? Meiosis makes me. This is where your mom or dad's 46 chromosomes will come together. They'll split. You'll have two cells with 23, and then those two will come together to create you. 23 and 23 equals 46. So let's go through this. The important acronym to remember this, because you know I always have something, is PMAT. So it's PMAT. PMAT. At the end of that, you're left with two brand new cells, and they're just chilling in something called interphase, but we'll get to that in a minute. So prophase is the beginning. So the way I like to think of this is you guys going to lunch. You're all going to cluster up here in front of the door, right? You're all going to condense. And we know that these sticks that are bound together, I can't do it with two hands, but you know what I'm doing, chromosomes. So these chromosomes are condensing, so condense the chromosomes, I meant to write chromosomes, condense. Now, the chromosomes are condensing, they're all huddled up towards the door, ready to get out, ready to run for lunch. But notice there are 4 sets here that all have 2. So these are all bound by 2, so these are called diploids. Notice there are 4 here, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are called tetrads. You don't need to know that. What you need to know is that there are 4 here and there are 2 here. Because the end product, I have 4 here, right? And I only have these colors over here. So prophase, the chromosomes condense. There are 2 here in a pair. There are 4 here in a pair. Those are the similarities and differences. Now, you're all crowded up near the door. You're all ready to go because you're gremlins who've never been fed. However, then your teacher makes you line up in an orderly fashion. So we're going to line up. So our chromosomes, right? These are chromosomes, are going to line up. These little green things that we labeled in class, some of us colored, some of us didn't. These green things are called spindle fibers. So these spindle fibers, that may be spelled wrong, fibers, attach to these chromosomes, and they line up. So spindle fibers are attached to the chromosomes, they line up. Again, I have 2, 4, 6, 8. They are pairs of 2. Notice here I have 2, 4, 6, 8. They are pairs of 4. So again, this is a diploid, this is a tetrad. You don't need to know that. Okay. Now, you're lined up in this nice little lunch line, right? Well, let's imagine I take a hacksaw and just cut you right in half, okay? This is like if I had like a stick figure and I just cut them right down the middle. I still have the same amount of arms and legs on each side, right? I have an identical sides. So over here, I've just cut it straight in half. So those spindle fibers pull apart the chromosomes. So spindle fibers pull apart chromosomes. Okay? And again, there are now 4 sets. And again, this is just a picture. There are 46 chromosomes. This is just an example. This is just a picture. So now there is only 1 of these on each side, right? So again, it's sets of 2 that are now broken apart into 1. Over here, you'll notice there are 2 sets. I messed up my coloring, but there are 2 sets. So again, you're still in sets of 4, but these are pulled apart, okay? So the spindle fibers pull those apart. Now, the chromosomes split. Now the cell itself starts to actually split in half. This is what we call cytokinesis, which is just a fun word. So cytokinesis. Cytokinesis. So what's happening is the cell itself, is starting to split. Okay? The cell is starting to split. And you are left with, if I cut this straight down the middle, don't I have one orange rod, one red rod, one brown rod, one blue rod? Here, I have orange, red, brown, blue. I've taken half of this, I put it in here. I've taken the other half, I put it in here. So I take half of this dude, I put him in a bucket. I take the other half of this dude, I put him in a bucket. I have two separate containers. Okay? Now, once those cells have completely split, I have two new cells that are genetically identical. So we're going to write here, this is genetically identical, or a clone if you want to say that, but genetically identical. Okay, and there are 46 chromosomes in this because it is genetically identical from the parent that we started with. So it's genetically identical with 46. Now, that cell is completely split. These cells go on, and then this is called interphase. Inter means between, right? So this means between phases. It's going to chill like this until it's time for it to go through the same process over and over, and this is how your cells regenerate. If you cut your arm or break your bone or whatever, or just grow, these cells have to replicate. They're going to die. They're going to go through their process. So this is where they're chilling, and they spend the most time in interphase. Now this happens millions of times throughout your body. Very quickly. It's just doot, 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 doot. Okay? Now over here, we followed the same process. We've condensed. We lined up to go to lunch. I cut you right in half. The cell's cut in half the same way, but over here, I'm now left. Notice I have 4 colors over here. I only have 2 colors over here. I'm left with 23, only 23 chromosomes, and it is genetically different. It is only half different. It is only half of your parent genes because this is going to create an egg or a sperm cell, or what we call sex cells. Put your maturity caps on. Sex cells, egg and sperm. Okay. This creates skin, we'll say skin, hair, nails, body regeneration. So your mom has 23 chromosomes in her egg. Your dad had 23 chromosomes in their sperm. They bound together through another process called meiosis 2. We start with these 2 cells. They go through the exact same process again. Then we have 4 cells. But you only need to know that we have 2. There are 23 chromosomes genetically different, 46 chromosomes genetically identical. Mitosis is cellular regeneration. Meiosis is sex cells. The order it goes in is PMAT. Please comment if you have any questions.